Here we have the Anger Management Toolkit. Ways to control anger. Here we have the Anger Thermometer. So every time you get angry, start to notice your anger. Without any anger, you're at a level 0. As soon as you start to feel irritated or annoyed, you'll be around here. And if you get very upset or frustrated when something occurs, you'll be around here. And any point after 6, if you're each one of these levels, we define this as being very angry or very frustrated. And here we have rage. This is pretty much the cutoff. You've now lost control of your anger. You're starting to raise your voice. You're yelling, and here you're screaming. And this is going berserk. You're probably throwing things. You're kicking things. And the goal is to make sure that our anger never surpasses this point, because we always want to be able to control it. And ideally, we keep our anger around these levels here. Okay, so what is your initial reaction to anger? It's probably to deal with the situation immediately in a tirade of rage. That's going to be one of the last things that you want to do, actually, because what you want to do is to be able to control your anger instead of letting it control you. So, even though your first impulse will be to deal with the situation immediately, you need to take a break. You need to do a few things. So, first, you need to be smart and breathe. So take some deep breaths. And make sure that you're physiologically calm and in the moment. So take 10 full deep breaths before deciding to deal with the situation. Then after doing your deep breaths, ask yourself a question. Is this really worth getting this mad about? And ask yourself another question. Why am I upset right now? Do not attend the situation yet. So don't go deal with the situation that's making you upset. Ask yourself another question. What is the real problem here, and how can I or we solve it? And if you're not furious, and if you're able to deal with the situation in a relatively calm manner, go ahead and solve the problem, and stay focused on solving the problem. Now, why do people get angry? So there's a few different reasons. One of them is a perceived injustice. So let's say somebody has something stolen from them, or their time is being wasted, or personal resources of theirs are being misappropriated. So if your resources are being mismanaged by somebody, or if they're careless with them, those things can cause anger. So life in general, if you sort of waste time, I mean, who do you think that makes angry? If you're just kind of wasting time in life and not using the resources of life very well, who do you think that would make angry? Okay, then you also have unexpected misfortunes, and then of course the unknown. So all of these are reasons. The unknown being, I don't know how much longer this, for example, how much longer am I going to be stuck in this traffic jam? I don't know. That kind of makes people angry. And just the unknown in general, it sort of makes people a little bit anxious, a little bit irritated sometimes even. And I see anxiousness sometimes as a precursor towards frustrations and other things. Now here we have a perceived loss of control or power struggle. So that can be why people are angry. Oftentimes you see kids fighting with parents, okay? They're engaged in a power struggle. Anytime anyone wants more power than they have and the other person is not willing to give it to them, there's that conflict there, right? Then with that conflict, you have different ways of dealing with it. You can either get angry and then try and use physical intimidation to get what one wants, or you can try and be constructive about the situation, try and negotiate, and use different negotiation strategies in order to get what you want. One of those is just maintaining coolness, collectiveness, calmness, everything else like that. So when people are angry, they feel an imbalance, and they're basically being alerted to the fact that they need to do something about the situation or problem. Generally, anger is so stimulating that it rises people to do something about it right away. So say somebody bumps into somebody else's bumper, right? Even though it's a complete accident, sometimes people literally get out of their car and start yelling at somebody else. Now, that is definitely not what we want to do and not what we want to mimic. And while it is uncommon that people do that, it still happens. Here we have some statistics on anger. So here's a quote. Aggressive driving played a role in 56% of fatal crashes from 2003 through 2007, with excessive speed being the #1 factor. So that's some aggressive driving right there. You're trying to get from point A to point B, and you do not care about the speed limit. You do not care about what the laws are. You're not realizing that the laws are set up to protect people from fatal crashes. I mean, fatal meaning death, right? Okay? So obviously it's good to obey the speed limits that exist because they're designed to protect people. And it's not even good to go 5 over. It's good to obey the posted speed limit. Because using those speed limits, even if both people are going 5 over, that's an extra 10 miles an hour through the collision, if you look at the physics of it. And that makes a huge difference. So it's good to go the posted speed limits. If anything, go a little bit slower than them. Here we have some more aggressive driving statistics. This is from the U.S. Department of Transportation, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. So here's all the different aggressive driving. So people who aren't managing their anger well on the road, these are the reasons that they get into crashes. So this is how many crashes there were based on this behavior. Driving too fast for conditions or in excess of posted speed limit. Failure to keep in proper lane or running off road. Failure to yield right away. My way is more important than your way. Okay, operating vehicle in a careless manner. Failure to obey traffic signs, signals, or officer. Disregard for the law here. Disregard for the law. Aggressive. My way is more important than your way type of behavior. Then you have operating vehicle in erratic, reckless, or negligent manner. All of these are aggressive driving behaviors. It's good to be able to manage our anger on the road so that we don't get in crashes, so that we don't harm ourselves or others. Okay, it's better to be able to manage our anger, stay calm on the road, leave early, be prepared to get to our appointment on time by leaving early, having plenty of time, not rushing even if we're late, then apologize if we're late and explain we didn't want to cause harm to other people on the road, whatever it is. Okay, and here you have your non-aggressive driving statistics. Now this is just a poor decision making here, under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or medication. So it's not aggressive driving, it's just poor decision making. You have distracted, phone, talking, eating. That's another poor decision making. Overcorrecting, oversteering, swerving. Okay, due to wind slip, there's not much you can do about that. Drowsy, sleep, fatigue, ill, or blacked out. Yes, this one's preventable. This one's not so preventable. And this one's probably just bad driving. Okay? So here you see about 20,690 was from aggressive driving, and non-aggressive was 15,000. So actually, most of the crashes are caused by aggressive driving. So you are in control of emotions and how you handle yourself on the road, how you handle yourself in your home, how you handle yourself at work. You are in control of your emotions. So only you can prevent angry explosions. You have the ability to decide if you want to get angry or not. So you can prevent this anger from happening. You can turn these things that make you very frustrated into, okay, I'm irritated, I need to calm down. So you can turn your, as soon as you notice yourself getting irritated, you can use these breathing exercises, you can ask yourself the questions, you can take the time necessary to process the information in a healthy way. And take the time to think the problem through. Do not immediately react to the environment or the world around you. You need to be the one that's in control. Don't you let your feelings, in this case your angry feelings, control you. So your anger is like a notification again. It's a signal telling you something is wrong in your environment. And it's asking, your body is basically asking you to try and do something about this. Try and fix this here. Now, last thing you want to do is attack the problem like a caveman or cavewoman with the stick. Okay, try to solve the problem. So this don't split open the golden egg. That's kind of an analogy. So if you have this golden egg and it's not hatching, are you going to take a stick to it and crack it open? No, because then you're going to kill the egg. You're going to kill the goose. You're not going to have any golden goose laying golden eggs for you if you just attack the golden egg with a stick. Be patient, give it time, figure out, okay, how can I have this thing hatch sooner? Do I need to make it warm? Okay, this is kind of just, this is a funny analogy, or, well, silly analogy for anger, but I think it illustrates an important principle that it's not, a lot of times when people are angry, they're tempted to just crack some skulls, right? Or just revenge, or all those things. But that's not going to solve any problems. That's just going to make life more difficult. And it's instead better to try and problem solve. Put that golden egg in a blanket, heat it up, figure out, okay, how can I solve this problem? Then you'll have your golden goose, which will lay you more golden eggs. Okay, own your own emotions. You're responsible for your angry feelings. Nobody else is responsible for how you feel because you are in control of how you feel. You are able to recognize and interpret your feelings, and you can also choose how you act on your feelings as well. And they aren't necessarily bad. In fact, they can be a good thing when you are in control of them. Recognize when you are angry and take ownership of your anger. Try and pinpoint your anger on a scale of 1 to 10. If you're above a 7, then you're too angry to effectively deal with the situation. You need to pause. You need to walk away from the situation, let people know you're walking away, and when you'll be back to try and deal with the situation. Here's a quote that I learned in an anger management group discussion. I think it's a powerful metaphor for having strength of character and controlling your emotions. And that is, so what's better, an erupted volcano or the ability to control a volcano and prevent it from erupting? So if you can make a volcano erupt, is that really better than being able to control that volcano and prevent it from erupting? So here's some of the consequences of anger. Loneliness, fake friendships, submissive friends, weak networks, which basically means your social network probably won't be very strong. It'll be weak because not that many people are going to want to interact with somebody who's always angry and frustrated with them all the time and yelling at them, because it doesn't generally make people feel good, and they kind of get scared and they don't know what you're going to do next. And of course, there's societal punishments, such as jail, prison, and then capital punishment, which is also known as a death penalty. So, when in some of the cases of these extreme punishments, people are doing things out of anger, and they're not trying to solve the problem. They're just very angry, and they're reacting to it like that caveman with the stick, and then here come the societal punishments, because it's not a very good way to behave in society. It's just, it'd be very difficult to go around and feel safe in an environment in which everybody's kind of angry with each other and yelling and screaming and fighting. Of course, you have regret. So when you get angry, a lot of times later we'll regret our choice. Oh, maybe that wasn't the best thing to do after all. That's why anger prevention is so important. And then, of course, monitoring your anger as well. Making sure that as soon as you notice any signs of anger at all, you're able to calm down. That being said, there are some times when people go from not angry at all to extraordinarily angry all of a sudden. And that'll happen if you don't have any anger management training, because you won't be cognizant of the buildup of anger. So as you become more cognizant of your anger and your feelings, you'll be able to notice, oh, I'm getting slightly angry, and you'll be able to monitor and control that better. And it's going to take time and practice. So you need to get into good habits, and you need to practice when you're calm. That way, when you're angry, you'll be able to implement the methods and strategies that you've learned in this anger management toolkit. Set goals for yourself. So go ahead and download and fill out the anger management goals worksheet. It's basically a Word document with a few goals listed. Go ahead and fill that out. Come up with at least 3 goals for yourself. Set some more if you want to. And then save that and look at it at least every week. So for the first time you fill it out, go ahead and look at it the day after you filled it out. And then go ahead and look at it a week after, every week for a month or 2. And then monitor your effectiveness as well. So download and use the anger record log. That's an Excel sheet. And it'll include the different days, the number of times you got angry, and then where you were at the highest level on the anger meter that you were.